All right, we are live. So what's going on, everybody? We're probably going to get started in a minute. The live show is now in play and in session. We'll have people from a few different groups come in and come on live in a minute. But today I have a special guest. This is Fitzgerald Hardnett, and I had a conversation with my brother yesterday. Actually did a consultation with him. And he ended up, giving me a lot of gems on, one of my businesses that I'm working with. And so after that, I was like, bro, let's have a conversation. I think that, we could bring a lot of value and talk together. And so my brother, he was like, look, man, whatever I can do to add value, I truly appreciate it. He was like, one thing that he trying to do is just, two brothers coming together and working, right? Two brothers coming together, working together, adding value. I was like, yeah, man, that's powerful. That's definitely something that we want to do. And so me and Fitzgerald, we're in a few different groups together. We're in a few different t-shirt groups together. I've been seeing what he's been doing for a long time. And, I can just appreciate the value that he adds to the marketplace. So with that being said, bro, what I want you to do is just go ahead, introduce yourself, let the people know what you do, man.
Woo, man, Charles, man, I appreciate you, baby. Thank you for having me. I thank God for the opportunity. Look, what folks don't know is when I got stuck on my t-shirt journey, who did I call? I heard you. It's a round world, brother.
Right,
I tell people all the time, listen, you may not know what to do, but you know who does know. And so when I got stuck, I said, well, this guy, he knows this area of the game. So I don't have time to relearn all this over again. Let me just pay this man and get some information so that way I can get unstuck. And look, round world, man.
Right.
Thank you, man.
Here we are, man. And I think that's powerful just to start off with, man. You reached out to me, asked me about a consultation. And then the same thing happened yesterday, right? I ended up, paying you some funds for a consultation. And I think that just shows, people, there is power of finding clarity from people who kind of can help uncover whatever issue that we're dealing with, right? And I've never been one to shy away from investing in somebody and getting some understanding and getting some clarity. And so that's something that we both have done. And I think that allows us to grow over time. So, all right, bro. So with that being said, what's your expertise, bro? What do you do?
Man, listen, strategy is my jam. Yeah. Strategy is what I was put on this earth to help solve problems with,
right?
Around revenue generation and revenue optimization, how to make more money with what you already got going on.
Right.
That's my gift.
Right.
I can truly say that I've helped numerous entrepreneurs in a short period of time. I call myself an accelerator pretty much, because when you come to me, I'm going to listen to what your problem is, figure out where you want to go, and give you the best plan of action to get there quickly. Right. I'm not going to waste a lot of time, because time is an unrenewable resource, So I firmly believe that strategy and helping people optimize their revenue, make more money with what they have, and that's it, bro.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely. It. Absolutely. So when it comes to strategy, because you're a person you see from like a top level point of view, right? And you can look down and identify people's problems. In this t-shirt space with people that you've worked with, what do you feel is like the most common issue that t-shirt brand owners have before they work, before you work with them? And when they come to you, what are they kind of asking you and saying, look, I'm struggling with this?
Well, a lot of them are struggling with clarity. They don't know who their market is.
Right.
They're entering the t-shirt game as a me too, as a side, as a oh, they're doing it too, let me try t-shirts.
Right.
And not having any kind of plan, just want to be in the t-shirt game.
Right.
Well, t-shirt game is one of the very most competitive industries out here, because the facts are the barrier of entry is super low. Right. Anybody can get into it.
Right.
All you need is an idea, some words on a mock-up, and then some Facebook ads.
Right.
And then what people don't understand is, because the profit margins are low, you got to be an expert in Facebook ads when it comes to t-shirt. Right. You got to be a flat out, not just good at Facebook ads. You got to be an expert, because if your for instance, let's say your t-shirt costs $30.
Mm-hmm.
You do a print on demand. They're charging you $20, $17 to print your shirt. That leaves you roughly $15 to $13 profit to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if your cost to acquire a new customer is $15, you got to have a follow-up system to make money.
Right.
You know, and they don't understand that. And they all they see is the top line number. Well, that top line number is very exaggerated. So a lot of people pull on that number. Trust me.
Right. So I think, look, so I think that there are a few keys that I want to hit on that you just spoke about, right?
Okay.
So I know when I started coaching in the t-shirt space, one of the big reasons why I wanted to be in this space is because like you said, the barrier of entry is low. There's going to be so many people in it who need help, especially when it comes online. And that's always going to grow because of that barrier of entry, right? But you talk a little bit about something about like differentiation, right? Kind of making a brand that's different, right? Something that stands out. A lot of people who will look at the t-shirt space, some people will look at it and be like, it's easy, let me go ahead and get in. Some will look at it and say, it's saturated. But how do you make yourself different? When you come into it and you choose a niche, how do you make yourself different where you can stand out and you can start moving units?
Well, with anything online wise, it's always your messaging. Excuse me, your messaging. What message are you trying to convey to people? That is so important because your message is going to move them.
Right.
You gotta figure out. Like I tell my clients and students, who do you want to serve with your t-shirts? Well, first, let me backtrack. One thing you said about this is so important. It's your mindset. If you think it's saturated, it's going to be saturated. If you think you're going to win, you're going to win. So your mindset is the determining factor in all of this, in all of it, because your mindset will allow you to persevere when you're getting beat up, you know? So, but back to messaging, it's really important to have a clear message. Who are you trying to attract? And then with your t-shirts, what message does that audience want to say? And then make sure your brand is speaking their language. It's so important that your message is congruent to your audience. If you got an audience that are introvert moms that deal with kids all the time, and they're saying, and the kids saying real crazy stuff on their shirts, and you're reprinting that, then make sure you're going hard, go all the way. Folks don't like my analogy sometimes, but think about how radical Trump's base is. He appeals to a messaging to people that energize them emotionally. You got to make sure your messaging energizes your base emotionally, so that way they'll ride hard for you. And that way they know that you're speaking on behalf of them. You're the voice of that market.
Right. Absolutely. No, I think that's extremely powerful, man. And you speak in my language with that, right? Identify a market, identify a message, right? And make that brand really embody that whole messaging in that audience. And I think a lot of the times, when people start brands, they kind of go from, okay, let me just kind of create something that I think is cool, that I think that'll work, and then go out and try to find somebody who will want to buy it. And I definitely think that a better approach is starting with the end goal in mind, figuring out who we want to, serve, and then reverse engineering and backtracking and creating around that. So tell me this, what are some ways that people they choose a market? How can they start getting an understanding of what the messaging is for that market? What can they do? What are some practical steps that will allow them to create for that specific audience that they're trying to target and sell to?
Well, hopefully, hopefully they're a part of the demographics of that audience, because there's only one way to really know what the audience wants. Either be a part of that market yourself, or ask them. You got to ask them. If you're not a part of that market, then you got to go and seek out experts, influencers in that market, and figure out what are they looking for. Like I go to groups all the time and just read the questions. Read what people in your target market are asking for. Like the t-shirt game, people are asking about how to do Facebook ads. Okay, no problem, because I know what people want to what they want, that determines what I say.
Right.
You know, if you want to learn how to do Facebook ads, hey, here's XYZ.
Right.
So you gotta do research.
Right.
And that's the part that people get lazy on. Research in this game is everything.
Right.
From the point of researching your target market to researching t-shirt quality. Research is everything. People are lazy. Entrepreneurship is not a lazy man's game by any means. You know, so reach out and do research to figure out what your audience is looking for.
Right. No, I think that's that's pure gold, man. And you're exactly right. That research phase, I think, starting any business is extremely important. But the great thing is like you talked about, the resources are out there for us already, right? I mean, we can easily go on our phone and, like you said, find groups and look at the conversations, and we don't even have to participate. We just can peer in and look and find stuff. So I think that's extremely valuable and, something, great. Like you said, encourage people to take those initial steps to get things started. So let's talk about this, brother. So you ended up, we touched on, being different. We touched on, as far as we talked about the research. So when somebody starts marketing at the very beginning, right, and they've built a brand, they've created a few t-shirts, right? When it comes to the marketing and advertising, and this is what people love the most, what are the first steps people do to start getting their brand out in front of that target audience and trying to find their people to get them to buy? Like, what steps should they take first?
So the first steps to promote the brand?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in running ads, man. I'm a firm believer in running ads, because ads are predictable and they're reliable, versus word of mouth is not as reliable and as accurate. Right. So from my perspective, I'm always going to tell people to run ads, because it allows you to be consistent day in and day out with your messaging and with your branding and marketing. Right. So you really got to identify who's your target audience, who are they, what are some characteristics that would make them resonate with your messaging on your shirt. So you got to really figure out who you want to serve. And that goes back to research. And then once you do that, then you just got to test. It all comes down to testing. Testing.
Right. I'm sure that you've ran ads before, and you try something and it might not hit the first time, right?
Or the second,
or maybe the third, right? And I think that's a big part of it as well. I think the persistence of or the pursuit of the results, right? And like I said, anything in entrepreneurship is not handed to us, it's not given to us. I think it's about that fight, that persistence of keep trying different things. When something doesn't work, you might chop at it a few times, but after that doesn't work, you switch gears and you do something totally different. And I think that's extremely important. And so, when it comes down to like testing and even budgets, I get this a lot of times. How much does somebody need to come out the gate and spend $1,000 up front, or can somebody spend something smaller?
I'm of the mindset, spend as much money as you can as fast as you can.
Right.
That's my mindset. And the reason why I say that, because you're buying data. Ads are excuse me, the majority of your ads are not going to work. So get that fantasy island idea that my ads going to hit every time, all the time. No, 85% of my ads fail.
Right.
Flat out. Right. And that comes back to that mindset of being prepared for that.
Right.
And that's where having the brilliance of somebody like you that can guide them, somebody like me that can tell them, listen, it's a mental warfare advertising and t-shirt game.
Man.
And you got to be prepared for this. So your ads may not work the first 7 times you do it. So back to my philosophy of spending as much money as you can as fast as you can, because you want to figure out what doesn't work. Because when you figure out what doesn't work, guess what? Your chances of winning now, they become real accelerated. So if you're targeting, let's say, Black women, and you're going through the Facebook ad platform and you say, okay, let me get the Shade Room. Let me get Jill Scott. Da, 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 da. Okay, well, what if you're doing $5 a day and you're got a $10 budget?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Data's gonna be real slow on coming back. You're gonna be like, man, ain't nobody buying.
Right.
And I'm gonna say you ain't give your car no gas.
Right.
You know?
Right. So that's powerful, man. I think that is really good. And so a couple things. I can give several examples where, you know, I've started, you know, ad sets and maybe put 100, like 100 interests, right? Got 100 different interests, individual ad sets, and you let them run. And, you know, you get to, you know, a few days in and it's like maybe only, you know, 10 to 15 work, right? 10 to 15 really hit, right? And that's a reality. You know, but and one thing as a coach, it's always kind of difficult for me to, you know, get into people's pockets, right? Because if it was me, I'll say bet the house up front, you know, go ahead and get that data back as fast as possible and make changes. But at the same time, for people who may not, you know, be there or maybe not want to, you know, be willing to risk maybe 100, 200, whatever it is up front, you know, I say start smaller. So how do you find that balance when telling people like what they should do, right? You know, should they start at a smaller amount, or do you just say, look, whatever your budget is, you know, you try to move forward and do this? Kind of how do you approach that with your clients?
And my clients will tell you, some get mad at me, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
My budget is not their responsibility.
Right.
I mean, their budget is not my responsibility. Right. I'm going to tell you what I know from my experience, what works. Right. Now, if it's similar to if I'm giving you a recipe to make a cake, and the recipe is proven to work, and I have several people who have also taken the recipe, right, and proved it to work, right, and here you want to modify the recipe, that's on you, right? You know, that's on you. You know, I'm very sensitive to the fact that people have budgets, right? Nothing, I understand. Right. I'm not knocking you for that, but just know that your growth is going to be slowed down by the amount of data you're getting back, because the data you're getting back is individualized to you.
Exactly. And that's what you're paying for to make decisions, you know, in the future, right? That data allows you to understand what to invest your ad dollars in as you move forward, right?
Exactly. So I'm always going to tell people, spend as much money as you can, as quickly as you can, because that's going to help you in the long run.
Right. And I love this concept too. You just hit on too, bro, before, is just mindset, man. You know what I'm saying? Just the mindset of when you are spending ads, it's an investment as opposed to you just spending and throwing money away. You may not get results, you know, early on. What can people do to help their mindset? Because I mean, not even just ads, it's everything, right? It's if I pay somebody for a consultation, will it be worth it or not? If I buy this new piece of equipment, will I be able to get, you know, the ROI on the equipment? I just think that a lot of everything that has to do with entrepreneurship has to do with what's in between our ears and how we think. I feel like the people who are able to frame the situations that they're in the best, that they frame it where it has more of a positive outlook, those are the people who usually get further. But there's also a lack of mindset that exists that holds people back. What can people do to improve that mindset, man? Because I think that's a big part of it.
Man, one thing you got to do is read. You gotta read. You gotta read books of abundance. You gotta expose yourself to people who are being successful, because, like you say, there isn't an influx of negativity in all around us. So one of my favorite books is the Bible, and one of the strongest passages says, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." So no matter what you think, you're right. You know, if you think you can't do it, you're right. If you think you can do it, you're right. So it's just a matter of inundating your mind and being exposed to things differently, to different things. And the only way you're going to do that is through exposure. And so you got to read. You got to read. Right. You have to read, because that's going to unlock and accelerate your learning, because millionaires have put their stories, their successes, excuse me, in books. But sometimes we as Black people don't want to read.
Right.
You know, and from my perspective, that's passed down from slavery. When we weren't allowed to read, we were only allowed to hear stories that were being passed down. And that's why word of mouth is so powerful, but also so crippling at the same time, because we take things at face value without doing the research.
That's powerful, bro. And for everybody, you know, here listening to our conversation right now, yeah, you know, we on here talking about, you know, t-shirts and ads and marketing. You know, we went off on this conversation talking about mindset, but I just feel like, you know, it's extremely important. I feel like that is a huge part of the puzzle. I remember when I first started out my journey, sitting in this exact room when it felt like the walls were closing in on me because things weren't working. But I remember feeding myself self-development and different things to help me push through those hard times. And now I sit in this room and it feels totally different. I have a sense of freedom. I've expanded. But I think a lot of it has to do with what we feed our mind, what we feed our spirit, what we feed our subconscious. And that allows us to be able to operate throughout the day. So, brother, thank you so much for even just touching on that, because I think that's something is valuable. There's an entrepreneur out there who's at those beginning stages, who doubts themselves, who feels like, you know, they've tried, they haven't gotten that breakthrough. And I think that is something that they need to hear. So that's kudos, man. Good deal on that. So with that being said, and one more thing, everybody, this is Fitzgerald Hardnett. We're on the T-Shirt Millionaires live show. If there's anybody in the audience who would like to ask any questions, just feel free to put them in the comments. I'll read through them as we have that conversation and move forward. But let's talk again, bro, about when it comes down to, I think you hit on something important. When it comes down to factoring in the ad cost into someone's profit. So it's not just taking a sale, and it's not just taking the cost of goods. It's also backing out the ad spend to get to what you truly make, especially on your initial sale. I think that's something that is important. And you also mentioned, how do you do things to offset that ad cost after the sale, or maybe right before the sale happens? What are some things people can do in their store to increase average order value and really be able to offset those costs?
Well, one great question, Charles. But one strategy that I'm going to give your listeners, and it's real simple. Okay. Figure out what your t-shirt costs are. Let's say your t-shirt cost is $25. People want to have these big average order values and say, you know, free shipping over $75. Okay, great, cool. I get it. I don't knock that. But what seems more attainable? If you say free shipping for orders over $30, well, guess what? The only way to get over $30 is to buy 2 t-shirts. So something simple as you saying free shipping over $30, you're getting another sale is taking place, because one t-shirt is $25, and the only way to get I'm $5 away. What I gotta buy? Another t-shirt. So now you done made $50 off of a simple mental adjustment. You know, it doesn't gotta be $75. I mean, we all love those big profitable order AOVs, average excuse me, average order values, but $50 order value ain't shabby.
Yeah.
You know, ain't shabby at all. Especially when you combine it with and say something, enjoy $7.99 shipping all day, every day, free shipping over $35, $30.
Right.
So you're framing it like shipping is $7.99. Say enjoy $7.99 shipping all day, every day. Or you get free shipping over $30.
Right.
Guess what? They buy a t-shirt for $25. They paying $7.99 shipping. Everything's up front right there. Nothing's hidden. So there's no getting to the cart and be like, what? $7.99? No, it's right there.
It's right there.
You know, but it's right there. It's right there. And there's one of these shipping bars. I can't remember the name of the app, but they'll gamify it and say you're $17 away from free shipping. You know, when you do some, people like a challenge, and people will spend more money to save money. I mean,
more money to save money. That's a trip, ain't it?
Man, listen,
That's a
they
trip.
will spend more money to save money.
That's a trip.
I'm like, okay, no worries. No worries.
Right.
So yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Right. No. So I think that's good, man. You know, definitely being able to, you know, frame, you know, different types of offers, and just like you said, the way that you put it. And I love the idea about, you know, you're however many dollars away, you get free shipping. That's a great way to be able to push people over the edge. And so, no, that's really good, bro. So somebody asked, you know, when starting off, what type of logo do you need to get a proper shirt? So when starting off, I'm guessing just, you know, I'm reading that, bro, and I'm trying to figure out, when starting off, what type of logo do you need?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
No one cares about your logo.
That's a unique perspective. Go deeper with that, bro.
Bruh, no one cares about your logo.
Yeah.
People are consumed about themselves. They're in it. What's in it for me? Especially the t-shirt game. It's a person buys a t-shirt for the design, the messaging, and that's what the design of the shirt,
right,
and the messaging,
right,
and then a third component would be for maybe emotional attachment,
right.
So you got to cater to what the people want,
right?
You know,
right.
Your logo is not going to make or break a sale,
right?
It's not,
right?
It's not,
mm-hmm.
You know. So you got to produce something that people want.
Exactly.
What's in it for me? We FM.
What's in it for me? We FM. I love that. I never heard it. You made that up, bro?
Nah, man. It's one of them marketing things that I read. I'm always reading, champ. You know, but see, that's the mark of a great consultant like yourself.
Right.
You feed your mind and being exposed to things so that we can turn around and help other people out.
Right. That's good. That's good. So look, somebody in here said, they changed their shipping policy right now. And then somebody asked, what type of conversion are we looking for? My ad reached 8,200 with 42 clicks, but no sales. So let's see. If we looked at that, let me see. If I looked at 42 divided by 1,800, that is a 2.3% conversion rate. What do you think about that?
You winning. You winning. Now, the question is, how are you going to follow up with the people who don't take action?
Right.
I mean, think about it. So the average conversion rate for an online store.
And actually, I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, Fitz. So not conversion, but click-through rate.
Click-through rate.
Yeah, click-through rate.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
That's even better. So what has to happen is first, excuse me. What has to happen first is you gotta your ad's number one job. Your ad's number one job is to stop the scroll.
Stop the scroll.
You gotta get paid attention before you'll ever be paid any money.
That's good.
So you got your ad, you gotta catch their attention because people are busy and they're searching for a variable reward. They're scrolling. Oh man, what's this? Okay. So you gotta grab them by the collar with your image, and get their attention to read your copy. And then your offer has to be juicy enough that they decide to leave this playground. So I'm gonna pause right there for a minute. Think of it like this: Facebook and Instagram are like the cool party,
right? And
we're all invited,
right?
But here you are as an advertiser coming to this house party. I'm like, Charles, look, man, I got a cool party down the street.
Right.
So Charles is already in this house party called Facebook, Instagram, and
Instagram.
And you like it here. You're cool right here. And here I come like, Charles, look, come down the street and check out my sketchy website.
Mm, mm, mm.
So this is the power of your image and offer, because you want somebody to leave a cool party and come to your sketchy website.
Wow. You dropping some bars, man. I like how you frame that.
Bruh,
You drop some bars.
This is why advertising is so challenging, because people are having a good time on Facebook and Instagram. And now you're inviting them to leave where they're comfortable and come somewhere strange.
Wow.
And then you better hope that your user experience at your house is good.
Right. Oh, so listen, let's back up real quick, man, because I like how you talking. I like how you framing this. You dropping some gems. So first off, they on this Instagram, Facebook party having a good time, right? And that's the purpose of your ad, is to get them to come from that party. But then we don't want to get them to come from the party and go to somewhere of a less value, right? We don't want it to be trashy. We want it to be 5-star. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So what things do they have to do? A t-shirt brand owner who has a website to make that experience 5-star to where they want to stay around at that party. What do they got to do?
It's got to be the offer, man. You gotta have something juicy. You gotta have an irresistible offer. That's why your ad needs to invoke an emotional attachment. You know, they gotta. Oh man, I need that.
Right.
Oh, I can't pass this up.
Right.
You know, it's got to be irresistible and juicy, baby.
Man,
that offer's got to be irresistible and juicy.
Right. That's good, man. You know what? When you speak about offer, and this is something that I don't see in the t-shirt space much, right? I don't even do it much, but we go over to like ClickFunnels, right? And we talk about Russell Brunson. And one big thing that they always talk about is, as opposed to selling a product, you're selling an offer. They talk about, like you talked about earlier, how do you frame things? How do you put maybe different products together to make them bundle, right? Different stuff like that. And so I think that's something that us as t-shirt brand owners should definitely start thinking more of, right? More than a t-shirt, is there maybe some PDFs or some downloads that maybe can help their live and goes with the message that can get them to buy as well? Or is there maybe this face mask that we can put with it, or and different stuff like that? So I love the idea of what you're talking about as far as making the offer, you know, good. Now, when it comes to aesthetic of a website and aesthetic of, you know, your designs, how important is that? Where does that play into the game?
I'm a firm believer that people like pretty stuff. You know, I like pretty women. So if the website is pretty, I'm gonna look at it. You know, nobody wants to go to somewhere where it's bland and dry. So you got to make sure your environment. Remember, you're asking them to leave the cool party.
The cool party.
And they're coming to your house. You got to make sure you clean up. You know, when you running an ad, don't send somebody to a collection. If you show me this Gatorade bottle in the ad, when I click your ad, take me to this Gatorade bottle you showed me.
Right. Don't
take me to the storefront where there's all these other Gatorade bottles to choose from, because guess what? Now I'm distracted and oh man, huh? Okay, yeah, gone. Right. So there goes your click-through rate. There goes your conversion rate. All because you're not putting things in place to make it easy for me to complete what I saw. Right.
No, that's really good, bro. I want to talk about something real quick. Before I do that, everybody that's in the mastermind group that's watching, so for whatever reason, I'm in the group and I see different comments, but for whatever reason, I'm not seeing them over in our broadcast. So if you have a question, do me a favor, put it in the comments and let me see if it comes over. But I'm gonna be monitoring the group as well to see if I see any comments, because I see it's like 32 comments in our group, but I don't see anything on our broadcast, and I'm not sure why. So I will go from there. So so I want to talk about that a little bit, bro. I want to talk about that point. So Definitely, I believe in when the app when they see the ad, you send them to the place that has the least amount of clicks to purchase, right? So I'm definitely not a huge believer of sending to a homepage. Like I don't like doing that at all. But the way that I've built my brand is I've built a collection of t-shirts that all tie in together. So they all have the same messaging. They have similar aesthetic. They just are broken out differently. So a lot of the times what I will do is I'll send them to that collection page because I know since they're attached to that message, if that message just is expressed a little bit differently on another shirt, they might be interested as well. So when you see those two different strategies, do you feel like, that is okay to do that? Like what are your thoughts? Because I know you just mentioned product page, but is there ever opportunity where you feel like it's okay to send to a collection page? And what are those opportunities? What would make you make that type of decision?
I'm always going to say test it out for your own individual business.
I'm
always going to say test it out for your own individual self. I just know my rabbit brain as a consumer. Mm-hmm. The more options I have, the less likely I'm going to take an action. And so I like real clear and decisive choices. So as you become a bigger brand like BFE, you can do different things because you've built up a loyal consumer base over the last 3-4 hours days. So things a smaller brand, you can get away with doing things a smaller brand can't do.
I like that.
Because you have built up the social capital that will allow that is more forgiving because you're a bigger brand and established in this niche. But going to a new niche with no social proof and no collateral, it may not work out the best for you.
Right.
So I'm always talking from the perspective of new brand owners who are just starting off and want to increase their chances of conversion. So that's where I give that. That's why I say, if you show me this Gatorade bottle, take me straight to this Gatorade bottle.
That's good, brother. I like that. I like that advice. I think that's definitely solid advice. And the other big thing that I like that you mentioned is you have to test, right? You have to test and try different things. This is something that I want to talk about. And I think this is a little more high level, but from you, somebody who's run ads, who consults people on ads, I think that this is a good conversation to have. I'm noticing it seems from ad account to ad account, it's almost like different ad accounts have different personalities, right? It's almost like I see people, you try different strategies on different ad accounts and different things work. And it has to do with the brand, but here's one for instance. What's the scale? Do you push the budget up? Do you duplicate it? What are the steps? Where do you go to spend more on something that is working? And I have found different things to work, different people get results based on ad accounts. Have you ever experienced this?
Man, listen, Facebook has a mind of its own.
For sure. That's a fact, bro.
Right. There is no one blueprint for everybody to follow. Mm-hmm. You got to understand that it's a lot of testing, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say that, but you got to test and see what's going to work for you and your audience.
Right.
Because Facebook is just that. Facebook. That they do what they want, when they want, how long they want, because they can.
And excuse me, everybody, I'm over here drinking the spinach green smoothie that my wife brought in. So that's what you see in this cup that I have. But listen, so I think that's good, brother. I had a good friend. He was a monster at Facebook ads. And one big thing that I got from him that I always kept is everything works and everything doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? And he just always said to always keep that perspective. Everything works, everything doesn't work. And so I think a big part of it is learning how to be agile, go with the waves and try different things. And when you find something, run with it. If it doesn't, then you shut down and learn how to adjust. So That's really good. So let me see, bro. I think we had a few comments in here.
Yeah, that's good.
How to tell your story through the brand message. So I think somebody asked a question. They said, how do you tell the story through the brand message? How would you go about telling a story? Even here's a good example in an ad copy. How do you tell a story? How do you do that? How do you do it through an ad period?
So telling stories is just simply telling a story. I mean, you gotta people advertising isn't complicated.
Yeah,
it really isn't. You got to understand that from the beginning of time, human beings are conditioned for stories.
Right.
When you're a little kid, when you're in kindergarten, crisscross applesauce, story time.
Right.
So you have to just tell the story. What is your story?
Right.
Ask questions, engage them to, you want to find that emotional hook that gets them to say, hey, I'm in. I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find different angles, different approaches to telling that story. But that comes from practice. You can't, well, you may not just start off and tell your brand story and it lands all the time. Nah, you're going to have to massage it, put it out there, see the data, make adjustments, see the data, make adjustments. Boom, that works. Now try a new angle. Same process. Same process. You know, people are nosy. We're in a social media world. Why'd you start this brand? Why'd you start it? People want to know what is the reasoning, because people will buy you before they buy your brand most times. Like when you started BFE with a mission to dispel, the negative stereotypes. And so guess what? People who agree that Black fathers aren't all locked up, they're going to get behind this mission and they're going to help tell your story. They're going to share your story. They're going to share your message. Black fathers exist. We're not out here all locked up. What y'all going to do? T-shirt to support the movement. Boom. So telling a story is just that. Tell a story. Right. Why'd you start? Why'd you start it? What's the reason going on behind your brand?
Right. I feel like to that point, I've never done this, but I have a deep sense that I feel like it will work. And I feel like if I was
never done what? You never done what?
So I'm about to say, I feel like if I had my t-shirts in my hand and I got on video just like this, and I said, hey, I'm Charles Smith, I'm the owner of BFE. Here are t-shirts that I created from my mind to help break the negative stereotypes about Black fatherhood and shine a positive light. I've done this for our community and for our culture. This is what they are. If you come to my website right now, I have them on sale. Thank you so much for your support. Just like something to where I just really, like, as an introduction, cold audience, no one have ever heard of me. And I had my shirts in my hand and really just kind of show people, let them see it, but see my face as well. I think that would do pretty good for a lot of people if they took that approach. What do you think about that?
People are becoming less enamored with big corporate brands. They want to, it's a real big push, especially since all the tragedies with the Black violence from police officers. It's a real big push right now to support Black owned businesses, because even Europeans, they're starting to feel guilty about not supporting Black owned businesses and giving them a leg up. So when you have an opportunity to show your face and tell your story, I believe it will go further than it would have gone just 2 years ago. We're in a different climate now. And see, one thing people got to understand is you have to learn you got to learn the skill of Facebook advertising, because this pandemic has accelerated the need to be online by 3 to 5 years. Easily. I mean, stores, companies, I have several clients who are vendors who were vendors,
Yeah.
but because of this pandemic, if you got a product to sell and you normally get out and show people your product and set up a table, this coronavirus has shut that down.
Right.
So you got to learn how to go online, run an ad, put your product in front of the right audience, and make adjustments to make a sale.
Mm-hmm.
That's facts now. I mean, it's facts.
Right.
Think about Black Friday. Last year, people were out on Thanksgiving trying to go shopping.
Yep.
This year, I doubt very seriously a lot of your audience left the house on Black Friday.
Facts.
And they shop online.
People were shopping online.
So the question is, how many people bought from you this past Black Friday?
Right.
Right.
People, it's funny, man. So many t-shirt brands has experienced so much growth during this year. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, just e-commerce, period. I mean, it goes right back to what you talk about, just like the need and the way that, the climate has changed. And so, I believe it too, brother. I always say, man, I wonder, like, we live in like such a powerful age right now. And I'm like, is it going to be like this forever, bro? Like, if 10 years from now, 20 years from now, like, are we going to have the access to be able to just click on our computer and boom, reach our audience and do what we do? And so I feel like it's one of the most powerful skill sets that any business owner can know. Now, everybody is not going to want to be an expert at it, right? Everybody is not going to want to dive deep and really learn how, and it's not everybody's forte. Everybody don't want to go that deep into it. But I feel like you should know enough to be dangerous. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm all on board with that. I mean, because literally, if you pivot and leave the t-shirt game and you decide to sell cars, you have the skill set to figure out you can target single moms and put your car in front of them single moms.
Right. I
mean, I don't care what you're selling, real estate, whatever.
Right.
Facebook and Instagram ads will put you in front of your target market. Right. I mean, I in my boot camp, I teach people that Facebook is simply the eyeball store.
Eyeball store.
You gotta, think about it. Who do you want to see your product?
Right.
You go to the targeting and you order it up.
Right.
It's real simple.
Right.
You go in your detailed targeting, and detailed targeting is your cold interest. Mm-hmm. People are constantly stepping over. So for instance, if you're walking down the street and there's a $5 bill in front of you and there's a $1 bill 5 steps beyond that, mm-hmm. What are you gonna stop and pick up first?
Right, at 5.
Right. But in Facebook advertising for new advertisers, they'll step over the $5 bill and go get that $1 bill, meaning they'll leave their warm audience, the people who've already been to their website, the right. people who've already interacted with their social media pages, right. and go do cold targeting. Let me go to the Shade Room. Let me go target Jill Scott. Let me target Alex and Ani. They'll step over the $5 people and go get that $1. They'll work harder for less.
Right.
And the key to it is hit your warm market first with the skill set of advertising.
Right. And you have so many people, and those retargeting campaigns are usually the most profitable ones, like you said, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because I ain't gonna tell you business, but yeah, absolutely.
Oh man, so look, I think this is a good question, and we're gonna take a couple more, and then we'll wrap up. So, someone asked, when you get a good click-through rate but no sales, do you run the ad again to the same group, or should you retarget all the website visitors?
So, say that one more time. When you get a good click-through
rate but no sales, do you run the ad again to the same group, or should you retarget all website visitors?
You get a good click-through rate.
Yeah, so no sales. Would you try that audience again, or would you retarget?
How many people? Well, one off the break, I'm gonna retarget because here's the thing: if they click through, it was of interest to them. So that means your initial audience selection was spot on, and your messaging was appropriate.
Right.
Now, the conversion is where the money is made, of course. So you gotta think about it. The kids could have been crying. The phone could have rang. They could have not had their credit card available. Life could have gotten away. So you got to understand, 100 people come to your website, only 2 gonna buy.
Right.
What about the other 98?
Right.
What's your plan of action to get back in front of those 98?
Yeah.
So retargeting is always going to be my number one cash cow.
Right.
You know?
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think you know, that's all day long. You know, whenever we don't retarget, you know, we leave money on the table. We are every single time we're leaving money on the table. And it's money that we've already spent. So it's just like we actually, I don't even see it as leaving money on the table. I see it as throwing money away, actually. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I think that's extremely important. So with that being said, bro, what other things you want to give us, bro, before we wrap up, before we close out? You know, what can you tell the audience? If it was you and you could give advice to yourself when you just started this journey, what would it be?
My advice to myself starting out would be learn a valuable skill set like Facebook advertising as early as possible. Because regardless of what everybody's not going to be successful at t-shirts. Right. They're not. But knowing how to take a product and put it in front of somebody and get them to buy and follow them around until they buy or die, that's a skill set. That's a skill. I mean, flat out, that's a skill. And then from there, learning the importance of your mindset. You got to understand, entrepreneurial game is not for the lazy person. You got to be built for the long haul. You got to be built for the bumps, the bruises. It's a community is necessary to help you survive and get you an accelerator. Invest in yourself, because truthfully, you're only going to go so far by yourself. Right. And you need somebody that's been where you're going, that understands the lay of the land to help you navigate those waters.
That's powerful, man. I think that mindset stuff is the biggest thing that stood out to me in this whole convo, man. I understand the importance of it. And you said, you know, for entrepreneurs to be in it for the long haul. It's not just a quick flip. That's not really how it works. I mean, you know, some people might get some instant success, but it's about, you know, learning how to just keep going in the midst of all the trouble. So, brother, that's extremely powerful, man. What I want to do real quick is give people an idea of what you do. Right now, y'all, we are at runads.work.com. This is Fitzgerald's. This is his website for anybody who may be looking to, you know, get any help with ads. You know, he dropped a lot of gems today. He has all these different programs, consulting services. So give us an idea of what's on here, brother.
So if you're new to advertising, paid advertising, and you need some help, I'm your huckleberry. I would love to serve you. It's teaching is my thing, you know, strategy and teaching. I've been blessed with my son. He learns differently. He has learning challenges. And so as a parent, as a Black man, I was like, God, why'd you give me a son that's not as sharp as I am? And what ended up happening was, because my son learns differently, I was able to take concepts and break them down so that way he can understand them. And that has allowed me to benefit adults now because I can take concepts that are seemingly complex and make them easily digestible. It's simple.
Right. Absolutely. So listen, y'all, I mean, you'll sit here and wonder and be like, listen, I got the T-shirt millionaires mastermind, you know, and I'm over here pushing people to Fitzgerald. Listen, bro, this is not about that for me. This is about you finding somebody that can resonate, you finding somebody that can help. My whole goal of this is to be able to expose a lot of people's businesses, expertise, to help everybody else, right? And if you find a brother that comes in who knows what he's talking about, that has gotten people results, I want you to know about that, because that can be the next step to help your journey. So with all that being said, my brother, I appreciate you, bro. I thank you for sharing all this information. I thank you for being generous and dropping these gems on us today. And it's been extremely valuable, man. I can't thank you enough, my brother.
Man, thank you for having me. It was my distinct pleasure to be able to come and serve your people, man. It's like I told you yesterday, most people think that we're in competition.
Right.
And I'm of the mindset, there is so much out here. There's so many people who need help that it's a disservice to humankind for somebody to think I'm in competition with Charles. You know, like I said in the beginning, when I first came on, when I got stuck, I hired this man to help me with a t-shirt brand, you know, and then just like you said, you got stuck and you hired me to come bring you clarity, and the world is going to see a whole new Charles come starting tomorrow, you know, and I'm just thankful that I had an opportunity to lend my expertise to you and your community, bro.
Right.
Because now you're going to be able to affect people on a whole different level.
Right.
You know, it's for me, it's no big eyes, little you, bruh. You got your lane. I got my lane. And it's free to stay in your lane. Trust me, it is.
Right.
It costs you nothing to stay in your lane.
Right. It's the mindset of abundance, man. That's
what it is. Mindset, bro.
It's more than enough. More than enough.
Absolutely more than enough.
Right.
Even, I mean, just think about when you go to the liquor store, all the different red wines, white wines, go to the bread aisle, all different breads. There's something out there for everybody. The point is you got to find your lane and carve out your fame in that lane.
Right.
Serve them to the best of your abilities. And it may not be t-shirts. It's okay.
Right. You know? Right.
But learn the skill of ads, because whatever it is, you got to promote it, baby.
You got to promote it. You got to promote it. People, it ain't building it and they will come. You gotta get it in front of people for them to come. So
right. That was only the movie. If you build it, they'll come.
Yeah.
Nah.
There you go.
If you promote it, they'll buy.
yeah, that's a fact. Cool. Well, look, man, my black brother, man, I appreciate you, dog. Thank you, man, and we'll definitely be in touch, man.
Absolutely, my friend.
Where can people find you?
Man, on Facebook. I mean, on Facebook. That's where I don't play on Instagram. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on TikTok. I'm where money is. I'm on Facebook.
Right.
Facebook.
That's a fact. Okay. All right, man. We'll go find my brother Fitzgerald Hardnett on Facebook, and we'll talk soon, bro.
My man. Thank y'all for having me.
All right, man. Cool. All right, cool. All right, y'all. So I hope that y'all enjoyed this. I hope that y'all enjoyed my brother coming on, dropping those gems for us today. It was extremely valuable. You know what? This is something that I didn't even plan on happening, man. For the simple fact, I have this vision, and I have this vision that's so big as we're in and out this year and going into the beginning of next year. Me having these conversations and meeting these people and having these deep, insightful communications between us, it lights me up, and I'm on fire with it right now. And, I'm really committed at this point to continue finding people who can share and who I'm learning from as well as we go through and have these conversations. For everybody, who has listened to my podcast in the past, I love doing that podcast, right? And at some point in time, I'll probably be figuring out a way to transfer this audio over to the podcast. But, I have always had the thought of interviewing people and talking to people, almost like if you've ever heard of Entrepreneurs on Fire, how he has a new guest every single day. And I kind of always looked at that model. I'm an interview buff and an interview, like, I don't know, like, I love interviews. Like, I'll do interviews all day. So for me to be able to just sit here and talk and interview to people, it makes me feel good, man. And I just really love it. So be on the lookout for what will be to come. I thank you. I thank everybody for, tuning in, coming in, watching. And, I got some more exciting guests that are going to be coming out throughout this week, and look forward to bringing them to y'all. So with that being said, y'all be blessed. Keep hustling, keep grinding. Take some of these gems. Don't just take the gems, but implement them. They mean nothing if you don't put action to them, and keep grinding and building up your brands. Y'all be blessed, and we'll talk later on.